Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up, friends? What is up? How you doing? How are you feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. I'm blessed. It's been, every day is like, ooh, this is the roller coaster that we're on. Yet we're still here. So I'm gonna claim that I'm feeling blessed. So I'm here with another life-changing review. Creative Quest by Questlove, famous drummer from The Roots. And this is not his first book, but it's the first time I've ever read his work, and I was very happy with it. I took a lot from this experience. What made me buy this book? I tend to do this thing where if I'm at a bookstore, I open the book and just kind of go to a random page and just see if something, like I'll read a little bit and see what jumps out. And I did that in the bookstore, and it said something like, I was in the studio with D'Angelo and he was recording Voodoo, and I was like, ooh, gotta read this right away because I love D'Angelo, I love music, and I was so taken aback by hearing about creativity from a black man. I've read many books on creativity. They're usually by women, usually like white women, and they've been great. But to hear it from a black perspective was really interesting and really different because it's a different perspective, right? Representation matters. So when you hear from a different voice, you'll get very different information, right? So why is this book important? Let's talk about that. I think this book is important because you may feel, and this is different from other books, this isn't specifically about self-help or spirituality, but creativity is a spiritual act. And it is something that we all do. We all make decisions about what we're going to wear. That is not a logical decision. That is about what is my preference, who am I as a person, and how do I want to be seen, right? We all make preferences on how we cook our food and what foods that we eat and what colors we are interested in and what types of furniture we have in our homes and how we decide to answer an email. Like basically everything that we do is a form of creativity because there's a million ways to do it, right? So this book is very encouraging of that. And even Questlove himself, a famous musician, a famous producer, says at many times, I never felt like I was being creative. I felt like I was doing what I was trained to do or doing what I thought was right, but I didn't feel that my choices were necessarily like creative choices. So he's very much relating to us so that you don't, and he's Grammy award winning artist, so it's not like you have to either be creative or not. Obviously there's levels, but we all have creativity in us. So why I think you should read this book. I recommend this book because there are some wonderful takeaways in here. And if you are professionally creative or just creative for fun, like I was describing, there's definitely something for you here. Like my biggest takeaway for life was in the idea of collaboration. Because we all feel one time or another that my idea is the best idea, or I want to do it by myself, or how can I, be the star of, right? Like it's kind of like me centered. But the idea of collaboration is such a powerful one because he says he used to feel that like he would play a song for artists, they would hear it, and he would feel like it was kind of more of a competitive thing, like for other musicians or for other, like I have to be as good as this person or as good. And then he started to think when he would work with people, what can I learn from this person? Rather than how do I compete with you, what can I learn from this person? Because we're different. Every human is different. So instead of me walking into the room, like let's say if you work in an office and you both have the same role at your job, instead of competing with this person, what habits do they do that I like and can implement into my habits, and vice versa. So he was saying that you can create better art more efficiently more intelligently, with more love, with more fun, and not just art, but anything. You can get better results if you work with people with the idea of what can I learn from this person or what can I share with this person. Then you both elevate, you both grow. And I've been embracing this a lot, and I didn't realize that until I read this, how often I'm quick to say no to someone's idea. Like, I hear it and it doesn't register with what I thought, so I'm like, no. Now I'm like, okay, let's try your idea, and if I don't like it, I'll say, okay, here's how I think we can make this better. And maybe more often than not, the more open I've been thanks to this book, they've been wonderful ideas. And so it's like you have twice as many ideas when you're open to other people's ideas. You have twice as much chance for success. And depending on, if you have 10 people on your team, you have 10 times the chances to succeed if you're open to other people's opinions and ideas. So that is just one of many nuggets in this nugget-filled book. I hope you'll check it out. I'll leave the link in my description below. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to y'all soon.